Hey guys, back with another video, and I want to talk about the Nations League today because recently the Nations League has been crazy. Like, it's been so entertaining because you got so many big shocks. England, France, Italy, Hungary leading their group. Spain, like Denmark leading their group. France bottom. Belgium losing 4-1 to Netherlands. Those are just a few. And even like Sweden doing really bad, third. And it's been really exciting, and I've loved so far the Nations League. It's been really good. So I wanted to go through the Nations League, and because it's been crazy. It's just been so exciting, so just cool. It's been such a good tournament so far. So let's go through and go for like every group. So let's start at the back. We'll start the League D. There are two groups. So the group 1 is Latvia, Moldova, Andorra, and Liechtenstein. I like calling him Liechtenstein, but I like calling him Liechtenstein because it's just funny. But the country's called Liechtenstein. Latvia is leading from Moldova, Andorra, and Liechtenstein. I mean, I think it's not really a surprise. Latvia should have been leading. Moldova should have been second. Maybe Andorra could have been fourth, and Liechtenstein could have been third. But Liechtenstein are one of the smallest countries in the world, one of the worst. So, makes sense. Then League D in Group 2, Estonia first. Although they haven't played a game yet. There's like one game they haven't played. Malta second, and San Marino third. I mean, San Marino, they're always going to finish bottom. And it's also a pretty easy group for Estonia. If they don't top this group, then it's going to be bad because Malta's, let's just say, is not one of the big countries. So League C, this one I've actually been really interested in. Georgia leads from North Macedonia, Bulgaria, and Gibraltar. Gibraltar actually got a tie against Bulgaria, but Georgia is leading over North Macedonia, and that's a big surprise. If you haven't seen my video on North Macedonia, you should watch it out. The rise of North Macedonia, but it's not really showing here because they lost to Georgia. And then they tied to Bulgaria. So it's not been great. Georgia leads with 10 points. North Macedonia second with 7. So Georgia's been really good. I got to give credit to Georgia because they've been doing really good. They're topping the group over North Macedonia and Bulgaria, who are two teams who don't underestimate those teams. So very good. And then Group League C, Group 3, even more interesting. Kazakhstan leads the group. Kazakhstan. Yes, you are hearing me right. Kazakhstan leads the group over Slovakia, Azerbaijan, and Belarus. Now, Belarus, I think, should have been fourth. I mean, if you didn't think Belarus should have been fourth, then, like, what are you doing? Because Belarus is just not a big nation. But I would argue that maybe Kazakhstan should have been third, or even second. But they're top. They're leading the group by 4 points over Slovakia. They've won all 3 games, and they've only tied 1, which was oddly enough a draw against Belarus. So yeah, they've won both games also against Slovakia, who are the heavy favorites. Have a 4-point lead over Slovakia, so very good there. And like, I did not expect much after seeing how bad they did in their group. Although it was a hard group, they had France, Bosnia, then they also have like Finland. They had a really hard group, but to be fair, they've done really well in my opinion, coping with it. Now we go to League C, Group 2. Now we have Greece, Kosovo, Northern Ireland, and Cyprus. I think the big shock has been Northern Ireland, seeing how well they did against Italy. If they tied to Italy, and then Italy lost to North Macedonia. If Italy won, then they would have gone to the World Cup. But yeah, like this tournament, they've been doing terrible. They've only tied twice against Cyprus. And Cyprus, I mean, like, really losing to Cyprus isn't great. And then they're behind Kosovo and Greece. They lost both games to Kosovo, and both games, like, they've only played against Kosovo. They've lost both games to Kosovo, which isn't really great. And then, like, Kosovo's done really well. They've only lost 2 games, and both of them were against Greece. Greece is doing well. They haven't lost a single game. 12 points over Kosovo's 6. Then it's Northern Ireland third, 2, and then Cyprus fourth with just 2 as well. So I think that's been a real shock. Then we go to League C Group 1. This one has just been unfair because Turkey are leading, which if they weren't leading, then there's something wrong with that team. Because they have such an easy group. Turkey, Luxembourg, Faroe Islands, and Lithuania. So if they didn't top this group, then something's wrong with their national team. Luxembourg's currently second. And I think people do underestimate Luxembourg. They won against Ireland, and they should have finished ahead of Ireland, really, in the World Cup qualifier standings. Don't underestimate Luxembourg. Luxembourg's second with 7 points. Faroe Islands is third with 4 points, and Lithuania is fourth, which is nothing. So I think Luxembourg has done really well. Turkey, obviously, they should be topping this group. Faroe Islands, good job to them because they won a game against Lithuania and tied against Luxembourg. So good job. Now we go to League B, Group 1, and this one was Ukraine, Scotland, and Armenia. It's been a pretty even group. I feel like the big disappointment has probably been Ireland. Their start of the group was pretty terrible. Like they lost to Armenia, then they lost to Ukraine, then they won 3-0 against Scotland, then they tied against Ireland. Although they have played a game. They have played a game over Scotland and Ukraine. So that's obviously an advantage. So Ukraine has 7 points to lead. Scotland second with 6, then Ireland third with 4, and Armenia fourth with 3. So Ukraine and Scotland will probably bridge that gap to Ireland, but the reason why they haven't played is because they just played in the World Cup qualifiers, where Ukraine won. So yeah, I mean, it's been pretty interesting. Then League B Group 2, Russia hasn't participated, obviously, because of the Russian-Ukraine incident. But it's been Israel, Iceland, and Albania. And Iceland hasn't really been great. They've been really bad recently, especially in the World Cup qualifiers. I think they lost 5-0 to Armenia in the World Cup qualifiers. It's been really bad there. And even here, they've tied all their games. They tied against Israel, then they tied against Albania, then they tied against Israel again. If Albania wasn't able to play against Russia, so that's why they lost their first game, then lost their first game. I think they just forfeited because I can't see them playing, so they probably just forfeited their game against Russia, and then they tied against Iceland. So, I mean, there's not really a lot to talk about there. So yeah, Israel though doing really good, and I think the Israel team is doing really well. Iceland got to pick up a bit, and Albania, hopefully you can get those games against Russia back, and just to get the points. So League B, Group 3 is Bosnia, who are leading, Montenegro second, Finland third, and Romania fourth. Finland really underperformed in my opinion. I mean, they're probably the second best team, maybe behind Bosnia, but the way they're playing doesn't seem like they're playing right because Bosnia, they haven't lost a game. They tied their first game against Finland. They tied against Finland, won against Romania, and also won against Montenegro, tied against Montenegro, and then won against Finland. So I'm not sure if Finland's just not doing great because they only won one game against Romania, and then they lost both against. Actually won against Montenegro, lost to Romania, and lost to Bosnia. I'm not sure, but it's just been not great. It's not been a great time for Finland, especially because they won against Montenegro but lost to Romania and tied to Bosnia, lost to Bosnia again after that. So not been great for Finland. Hopefully they can bounce back. Also Romania. Maybe I expected a bit more from Romania, but they're currently bottom. But I think the biggest one of Group B has been in Group 4, League B, has been Sweden because they've lost 3 out of the 4 games. They're currently sitting third, only ahead of Slovenia, behind Serbia by 4 points, and behind Norway, who have 6-7 points ahead. So not great, and they had a really terrible start. They Like they lost their first three. They lost their first three games. Actually, no, they won against Slovenia. Then they lost their next three against Norway, Serbia, and then Norway again. So really tough ride for Sweden. So gotta improve there because I think Sweden are a great team. They showed in the World Cup in 2018, but they're not gonna be in the World Cup in 2022, which really stinks. It's really annoying. But also Norway, they have like Erling Haaland, who's currently leading the goal scorer charts. And Serbia, in my opinion, has a very good team. So, yeah. Oh, but again, Slovenia so good. So now we go into League A. And oh my, has the League A Group 1 been crazy. Because Denmark's leading from Croatia, from Austria, from France. France is bottom of their group. It's a big shock because Denmark's leading. Denmark won against France on opening day, comeback. Then they won again against Austria. Then they lost to Croatia, and then they won against Austria. Croatia's currently second. They actually lost their first game 3-0 to Austria, so not good. Tied against France, won against Denmark, and then won against France. That's crazy. And then Austria third. Obviously won against Croatia, lost to Denmark, tied to France, lost to Denmark again. And then France, like, it's just been terrible there because I know they're playing their bench players. They just want to get some players to use to just see how good they are. Lost to Denmark. Denmark's still very good. Tied to Croatia, tied to Austria. Yeah, they have some good players, but Austria's not, like, a great team. And then they lost to Croatia, so don't know what's really going on there. They gotta improve. So yeah, I obviously France have been the big shock. Like with 2 games to go, they gotta improve because they could get relegated. League A Group 2, we got Spain, Portugal, Czech Republic, Switzerland. Probably the most uneventful. I think the big shock is from Switzerland. Like Switzerland, they've only won 1 game, and that was against Portugal. And Portugal weren't really playing their players. Czech Republic's done pretty good. I mean, they got a win on the first game against Switzerland, then tied to Spain, then lost to Portugal, and then they lost again then they lost again. They lost to Spain in their last match, then lost to Portugal. So not great for Czech Republic. And Portugal, they should have been leading. They should have won against Switzerland, really. And Spain's leading only by 1 point. Not most eventful. But League A Group 3, oh my God. Has this been a crazy group? Hungary leads. Yes, Hungary. If you told me 4 games into the Nations League that Hungary would be leading their group over Germany, Italy, and England, then I would have said, no way. But they've done it. They've shocked me. They shocked all of us probably. Because they're leading their group with 7 points over Germany with 6, Italy third with 5, and then England fourth with 2. Because it's just been crazy. Hungary are leading. They won their first match over England. Then they lost to Italy. Then they tied to Germany, and then they won 4-0 at England. I think I was at the Molyneux. 4-0. If that was just crazy, and it wasn't with just random players. No, they were playing Ramsdale in goal, Walker at the right back, John Stones center back, Whitey center back, Reece James, Conor Gallagher, Calvin Phillips, Jude Bellingham, Jared Bowen, Harry Kane, Bukayo Saka. That is a very good team. Yet they still won 4-0. John Stones got a red card. They scored 4 goals, 2 goals for Salai, a goal for Nagy, and a goal for Gazdag. Incredible, because this team has just been crazy, and all best of luck to them. And then Germany won 5-2 against Italy. Yes. And then Italy's also been doing really bad. So Group A has just been crazy, and I'm also probably going to be making a Gareth Southgate video maybe in a little bit. So crazy stuff. And then England, they lost the first game to Hungary, tied to Germany, tied to Italy, lost 4-0 to Hungary. And now it's being questioned if Gareth Southgate should leave So, yeah, like, it's just been pretty terrible. Let's just say that. So now we go to the final group. It's been League A Group 4. Netherlands is leading from Belgium, from Poland, from Wales. So yeah, it's been pretty good. Well, Netherlands has been on fire recently. They won the first game 4-1 over Belgium, 2-1 to Wales, 2-2 to Poland, 3-2 to Wales. And Belgium, their team looked really shaky in the first game, but now I've turned it a bit around. But still looking a bit shaky. That defense, that's the main problem. Their defense, the goalie's good, but the defense and a bit of the midfield isn't great. Team's still good. Wales, though, like, going into the World Cup in a few months, they got to perform better. And also Poland, they did get a tie and a win over Wales, but got to improve a bit. So that's the Nations League. The Nations League has been crazy so far video. I hope you guys liked it. And if you want to see more videos like this on the Nations League, then leave a like on the video, subscribe, comment down below what you think, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya!